Welcome, everyone, to the Daily Fantasy Lines NBA breakdown. I will be going through FanDuel and DraftKings and breaking down this short slate tonight. We're not waiting on a lot of injury news, so that should help. You can chat with the group chat option on the right-hand side of the YouTube page if you have any questions. I will be monitoring that throughout the broadcast. Make sure to get your questions in. I'm going to start on DraftKings. I'm going to do exactly what I did yesterday. Go position by position, site by site. I'm going to go ahead and run through all of DraftKings first, and then I'm going to move over to FanDuel. So if you are a FanDuel only player, you might want to tune in, in 5 or 10 minutes, or you can just rewatch it, and I'll put a little mark in there, a little bookmark, so you know where to start. Over on DraftKings, I'm going to show you the top 5 lineups that are generating so far tonight. I'll also touch on the injury news that we're waiting on. As of right now, Alan Crabb is questionable. Bielitsa is questionable for Minnesota, and Dwayne Wade is also questionable with left knee soreness. None of those are going to have a major impact, I don't think, but they could impact projections enough to where it changes the lineups. On DraftKings, looks like we're getting a fair amount of Alan Crabb, so we'll definitely have to hold out on that news. Obviously, if he sits, we can't play him. If he's still questionable at locks, we can't play him either. Spencer Dinwiddie, Alan Crabb, LeBron James, Omri Caspi, Jordan Bell, Klay Thompson, Julius Randle, and Kevin Love. Just to go through some of the players that are out, Draymond Green has been ruled out. Zaza Pachulia and Nick Young also have been ruled out. Steph Curry, obviously, still out. Dennis Smith Jr. out. Derrick Rose out. Isaiah Thomas out. Mike Muscala out. John Collins and Luke Babbitt are probable. So that's why you're seeing the value Golden State Warriors in here, seeing some Willie Cauley-Stein mixed in. That's why you're seeing Klay Thompson. Julius Randle, I'm not a huge fan of his, but he has been making optimals due to a low price tag, and he has also closed a few games. I think he even played the end of the last game and overtime, so that's something to keep an eye on. I'm going to go ahead and look at the top point guards, and I'm just going to go right down the list here. It's a short slate. There's not much to cover, and I don't really see the point of staying on here very long if we're not waiting on a ton of injury news. Spencer Dinwiddie is the top value against the Knicks. Both of those teams aren't very good, so hopefully the game stays close. I believe the spread is 1 point. It's in Brooklyn. It has the second highest over-under of the night. Both teams play at a relatively fast pace, and Dinwiddie gets a boatload of minutes. Yogi Ferrell, he's up and down. He doesn't do a whole lot when he's on the court, but he does play a ton of minutes, and that's something to consider at 4.6K. Frank for the Knicks. 3.8K, that's just a cheap price tag. I don't trust the Knicks ever, but he did get extended minutes last game, and we're seeing him close games instead of Enes Kanter. I think Jack also sat out, but you never really know what the Knicks are going to do, so that obviously comes with some risk. Frank Mason also comes with some risk as he is a bench player, and he's not guaranteed big minutes. JJ Barea, price keeps going up, but also the production keeps going up. So where do you draw the line? I guess is the question. I believe J.J. Barea actually played extended minutes last game. I know Carlisle likes beating the Spurs, so I don't know if that was a part of it or if he's just going to play him bigger minutes from now on. I assume the Mavericks are still trying to tank, so I'm not real sure, if he's going to play 25 to 28 minutes every game. But he has seen that kind of minute uptick with Dennis Smith out, and his floor is pretty high. You're looking at 21, 22 fantasy points for his floor. I'm not opposed to playing him, but the ceiling is severely limited. It hurts your overall lineup construct if you're paying 5.6K for a guy with no upside. Jarrett Jack, again, can't be trusted. Devin Harris, price is still really low. I don't hate him in this spot, especially with all the Warriors out. But we probably don't need to go there. Shooting guards, Andre Iguodala is the top value because of all the Warriors that are out. He's hit or miss. I mean, he either does really good or he does really bad. He also relies on, defensive statistics like steals or blocks. And so Iguodala is, at 4.2K, I'm okay with playing him, but I don't expect a lot out of him. Alan Crabb would be a great play at 4.4K. He's seen big minutes. He hits the three ball, which is great for DraftKings. I really like him if he does end up playing and if he's not limited. That's just something we're going to have to wait on. Wes Matthews is what it is, 4.6K. He's pretty solid. Dinwiddie, Klay Thompson, Yogi, Frank. These are all guys that we've already talked about. Moving on to small forward. Omri Caspi, we saw him in the optimals. That's, he's going to see minutes and he can produce. 3.5K, I'm perfectly fine playing him at that price point. Iguodala, Crabbe, Wes Matthews. Bogdanovich, not really a cash game play typically. LeBron James, 11.9K is a really steep price tag, but he has been on fire. His ownership will probably be relatively high. The 9.5-point spread is somewhat scary. But I would say if Dwayne Wade is ruled out, it will tick up LeBron James just a tad as well. Damari Carroll, I like him a lot more if Alan Crabb is ruled out, so we'll wait and see that news. Tobias Harris, LeVert, all these guys are secondary values. Kevin Durant, 11.3K. The Mavs play at a pretty slow pace. Harrison Barnes is a decent defender. It's probably not the best spot to spend up on Durant, but I'm not completely opposed to it. I think I would prefer LeBron over Durant tonight on DraftKings. Power forward, Jordan Bell, Omri Caspi, David West, more Golden State values. David West obviously has the lowest ceiling out of these guys, but he does have a decent floor when this many players are missing. The Keebler Elf, Maxey, probably not going to go there, but you can at 3.5K. Dirk Nowitzki he's just too old. He's my favorite player of all time, but he's too old to really produce for DFS purposes. Julius Randle, we talked about him. He'll make a few optimals just because power forward is weak. Willie Cauley-Stein, LeBron James, Kevin Love. Love would be a stronger play with Dwayne Wade out, obviously, but it's still a strong matchup at 7.9K. And that's pretty much all there is to see there. At the center position, Bell, West, Dirk, Randall, Stein. These are all guys that we've already talked about. Karl Anthony Towns, Taj Gibson. They're both priced too high to really be comfortable with, but I'm not opposed to playing them. I'm going to go ahead and I thought I moved to center. Yeah, I did. Nothing changed. Same guys. I'm going to go and move over to FanDuel. We'll take a look at the optimal lines there, and I'll just give a brief rundown position by position. If you guys have any requests or if there's anything you want me to add to these shows, I'm happy to do it. This one's pretty short and sweet because there's not a lot to talk about. Also already did an NFL breakdown today. You guys can see that under the channel. Be sure to subscribe so you can check out these every single day, and so you get notifications when we go live. Also, these are saved on YouTube, so you can watch them after the fact. You don't have to be available for the live stream. If you want to plug it into your aux cord and listen to it on the way home from work, you can definitely do that via YouTube. FanDuel, we're seeing Yogi, 4.7K, Dinwiddie. Yogi does get a fair amount of defensive stats. I mean, he's not a great defender, but if you play 38 minutes at the point guard position and you're as active as he is, you're going to get a decent amount of defensive statistics. So I like him at 4.7K. Spencer Dinwiddie, I really like him. Barea, 5.5K is just okay. FanDuel has a habit of overpricing their centers and their point guards. So it's really tough to find value at those two positions typically. But Dinwiddie, Barea are solid. Bellinelli, I really don't like that play. But, I mean, I assume shooting guard's really weak. We'll get to that in a second. Klay Thompson, love him without Curry, without Dre. He's been really solid, but I mean, as you can see, the projection is not good. So FanDuel building's going to be pretty ugly if guys like this are making the line. Omri Caspi, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Andre Iguodala. It looks like, Durant and LeBron is just kind of a toss-up on FanDuel. Durant's a lot cheaper. I think I'd probably go that route over LeBron James, given the big savings. The savings isn't that high over on DraftKings. Jordan Bell and Taj Gibson, blocks for me. The power forward position seems really straightforward. Andre Drummond's coming off a full-on dud, and I think that might keep his ownership down. And he's he's had like 1 or 2 bad games all year, so I don't expect that to continue. He also gets a matchup against the Hawks, who are really bad, and the spread is somewhat close. So I really like Drummond there. Let's take a look at the point guard position. We saw who made the optimals, but I'll go ahead and go by the top values so that you guys can view it. I am monitoring the chat. If you guys have questions, I see that Gary Skinner is really the only one in there right now. I assume 4 o'clock, everybody's probably still working. Out an email this time. So moving on, point guards, Yogi Ferrell, Ish Smith, JJ Barea, Reggie Jackson. As you can see, it's just as ugly as we thought it was going to be. I would probably stick to Yogi, JJ, and Dinwiddie. I really don't think I'm going to go outside of that in cash games. But maybe some news will shake things up. It is the NBA, and stuff like that happens. Reggie Jackson's just unreliable. Frank, unreliable. Sean Livingston, unreliable. Frank Mason, unreliable. Jeff Teague, unreliable. Lonzo Ball, probably the worst top draft pick in the history of the NBA because he's absolute trash. Shooting guards. This is where the fun begins. Look at this. Nobody rated over a 4.6 value. Bogdanovich, Dwayne Wade, who is questionable. Wesley Matthews, Marco Bellinelli, Klay Thompson, Avery Bradley, KCP, Kent Bazemore. I mean, holy shit. Just close your eyes and just point at one of the top guys, I guess. This is absolutely disgusting. This is probably one of the few nights where I would recommend playing more money on DraftKings than FanDuel. AP. Yeah, I mean, where do you go here? I don't know. I mean, Wes Matthews gets a ton of minutes, so that's nice, but he's overpriced. Klay Thompson's probably the only sure thing in here. And even at 7.6K, I don't love him, but I'll plug him in just because the position's that weak. Maybe Dwayne Wade plays and he becomes more into play. Actually had his exposure at 0. Reset that and run optimals. Maybe he's making them. And take a look at that real quick. I didn't realize I had exposure settings up already. Yeah, there you go. Now Dwayne Wade's making them. Or he made the top 2. That looks a little bit better, assuming Dwayne Wade plays. I'll look up an injury report in a second and kind of try to get a feel for it. But as far as I know, he's questionable. Small forwards, this is where the big money guys are. LeBron James, Kevin Durant. Let's try this again. There we go. Caspi's a great value play at 4.1K. Iggy's also a great value play. You run into issues here because LeBron is kind of overpriced. Durant is borderline overpriced. And you've got value here. So you really have to consider how you want to build tonight. The optimizer, when there's no other studs, is going to pick at least one of these guys because you have to fill the cap somehow. But, building your own lines, there's a lot of ways you can go with this. You can lock in Caspi and Iguodala, and you can try to spend up elsewhere. I'll take a look at that and just kind of see what happens. But, if you're not spending on LeBron and KD, who are you spending on? I guess we'll find out here in a second. I know Drummond will be in there. Yeah, Yeah, the Manis, Kristaps, Porzingis. That's pretty much it. Dinwiddie, Barea, Klay Thompson, Andrew Wiggins. I mean, that's a really steep price tag for the Manis. I know he's coming off a big game. But that 10.2K, I mean, you're looking – Durant and LeBron are just way safer at that price point. It's pretty much what it comes down to. Moving on to power forward, Jordan Bell, as I said, is a lock, and I really like Taj Gibson. I see Dirk rating fairly well over here. I don't trust Dirk, being a Mavericks fan. I don't necessarily trust Julius Randle either. So if I were doing my lineups, I'd probably lock in Gibson and Bell, and I would just kind of go from there. Bell does seem to have a relatively low floor at times, but his defensive statistics make him an especially great play on FanDuel. I could see maybe fading him in tournaments on DraftKings. But on FanDuel, where their defensive statistics get you 3 points each, I don't think I would go that route. Centers, Brook Lopez, yeah, probably not going to go there. Andre Drummond, yes. That would be another lock for me. Kevin Love, Tyler Zeller, Kyle O'Quinn, Willie Cauley-Stein. When you look at the competition here, it's really easy to just lock in Andre Drummond. He's not hard to afford. There's value everywhere. And I don't think you need to look much past that. Drummond or Towns? Ty, Drummond all day long. I see your note here in the chat. Definitely Drummond. It's really not close for me. It shouldn't be close for anybody else. I mean, Towns is on a pretty good run. His usage has been going up. But I really like Drummond here. I think his ownership might take a hit coming off of a dud. So I would go ahead and plug on in. That pretty much wraps it up, guys. I don't think there's much else to talk about here. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter at DailyFTSYLines. And be sure to check out our free trial if you're not currently a subscriber. Thanks again, and I'll catch up with you.